Well, I guess it was just a matter of time, wasn't it? Skynet is finally here. So if you're like me, you'll have been a fan or you'll have enjoyed the Terminator movies, that Schwarzenegger vehicle back from the early 80s.
I'll be back.
When it started, I forget the exact year. I remember it well. It was okay. It was a bit dated in terms of its special effects by today's standards, but the whole premise was, there was a bit of time travel involved, and there was a dystopian future where this computer AI had basically run amok and was doing its absolute best to wipe out the last of the human species. And it was the whole struggle that was going on in the future, and then some guy is sent back to try and stop it, becoming what it became in this dystopian future. So there was plenty of autonomous machines, robots, flying drones, attack ships, if you like. It was an absolute nightmare scenario. Well, if you were a human, probably all right for the machines. But so yeah, I mean, I love those movies. I was brought up in those movies, and well, okay, when I say I enjoyed those movies, I enjoyed the first two, and then it slowly seemed to descend, as Hollywood often does with what starts as a good idea, it eventually descends into some kind of woke feminist fest. So I'm out at that point. But the first two movies, great. Very on point, very well made. T2, second movie, Terminator 2, built on the first one, improved on the first one, you might say, took the whole thing to another level. After that, it was all pretty much downhill. But why am I bringing this up? Well, I've got bad news for you on the whole Skynet front. Skynet being the name of this killer AI that goes berserk. And the bad news is that dystopian future may be upon us. Let's jump in here to the New York Post by Paula Froelich. I'm guessing this is some kind of a Germanic influence there. Killer drone, quotes, hunted down a human target without being told to. Now, if you're not getting Terminator vibes off that title, then I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, killer drone hunted down a human target without being told to. Let's see what's going on here. Paula writes, Arnold Schwarzenegger could have seen this one coming. Well, we all could have seen this one coming as technology races ahead. It's the old adage, if it can be done, somebody somewhere will do it. We already have the technology for this, and we've had it for a number of years. So, was it inevitable? Yeah, probably in a way. After a United Nations commission to block killer robots was shut down in 2018, I didn't know this, a new report from the international body now says the Terminator-like drones are now here. Last year, quote, an autonomous weaponized drone hunted down a human target and attacked them without being specifically ordered to. according to a report from the UN Security Council's panel of experts on Libya. This is coming from the UN. This is not some crackpot crank conspiracy theory from somebody in a shed somewhere. This is the UN saying this, so I suppose it's got to have some gravitas attached to it. So this was published in March 2021, so it's pretty fresh. And it was published in the New Scientist magazine and the Star. Well, not sure about the Star, but the New Scientist I think is a pretty serious publication for that type of thing, cutting edge stuff. Not sure if the Star is, but we'll roll with that for the moment. The March 2020 attack was in Libya. That says a lot of funny stuff going on in Libya, and not ha-ha kind of funny. And was perpetrated by a Cargo 2 quadcopter drone produced by Turkish military tech company STM. Quote, during a conflict between Libyan government forces and a breakaway military faction led by Khalifa Haftar, commander of the Libyan National Army, the Star reports, adding, the Cargo 2 is fitted with an explosive charge and the drone can be directed at a target in a kamikaze attack, detonating on impact. Well, I wouldn't like to have one of them after me. It's basically a flying suicide bomb, essentially. The drones were operating in a, quote, highly effective autonomous mode that required no human controller, and the report notes, quote, the lethal autonomous weapon systems were programmed to attack targets without requiring data connectivity between the operator and the munition. In effect, a true fire and forget capability, suggesting the drones attacked on their own. That's disconcerting. Well, if you're the one they're after, it is, most certainly. So what I'm seeing there is that basically they feed in the info of who the target is, probably some facial recognition stuff going on there. I mean, that is really highly developed now, so there's nothing, there's no issue with identifying a person. I guess they feed all this stuff into the drone and press play and off it flies, looking for that person. They probably give it some basic coordinates of where they're likely to be. Possibly it's in this area or this town or this village or whatever, and it just goes off and flies around, buzzes around as drones do on its own. And when it finds the match, I'd imagine, it just basically kamikazes it. And that's the end of that. End of drone, end of person. Right, like I say, this is scary stuff if this is where things are going. Zach Kallenborn at the National Consortium for the Study of Terrorism and Responses to Terrorism in Maryland said this could be the first time that drones have autonomously attacked humans and raised the alarm. Quote, how brittle is the object recognition system? Kallenborn asked in the report, quote, how often does it misidentify targets? Well, that's a valid question, but as I said, that the whole facial recognition thing is really, really finessed now. It's not new technology anymore. The Chinese especially have the Chinese have even brought it to a level where it's reported they can tell what mood you're in. Not only can they tell who you are, they can tell what mood you're in. And don't think putting on a COVID mask is going to help you. No, they've gone beyond that. That even with a mask on, it's not gonna help you. Jack Watling at UK Defence think tank Royal United Services Institute told New Scientist, quote, this does not show that autonomous weapons would be impossible to regulate, he says, but it does show that the discussion continues to be urgent and important. The technology isn't going to wait for us. Close quote. In August of last year, Human Rights Watch warned of the need for legislation against killer robots, while New York City mayoral candidate Andrew Yang has called for a global ban on them, something the US and Russia are against. I'd imagine the Chinese aren't too much in favour of it either. But here's the thing about all that stuff. You can make all the rules and regulations and bans and all this stuff. Will it change anything? Yeah, I don't think so. Nah, that's just a lot of posturing there. In the end, if countries like the United States, like Russia, like China, or whoever you want to pick, North Korea if you like to go down that road, Iran, all these usual suspects, they're gonna bail on with this.
I'll be back.
No, they might not tell you they will, but they might not publish that they will. They might not put it out there in the public space, but you can be damn sure they will. If it can be done, it will be done. If there's a weapon system out there that might be useful, you can guarantee they're going to use it. Let's hop on over here to Business Insider. So Business Insider, what have they got for us? Don't mind that drone there, that's just a stock photograph there. A rogue killer drone hunted down a human target without being instructed to, so says the UN. We got that already. The incident took place in clashes in Libya. That's the thing about these messy civil war type places, Libya, Syria, they're messy. There's a lot of stuff going on. They're dirty wars. There's a lot of different factions, sides, a lot of different takes. So information's getting pushed out, so information's getting held back, different information's getting pushed to different people. It's just a complete and utter quagmire. And in quagmires, stuff like this can be tested, can be tried, you know. It's a good place for trying out little niche takes on things, because the whole thing is a bloody mess. Everybody's blaming everybody else for everything. So nothing, it's not simple black and white, not that war ever is, but these things are particularly chaotic. Experts are sounding the alarm about the lack of regulation around using killer robots. Well, as I said, even if they bring in regulations, will anybody really pay attention to it? Let's have a look here. A lethal weaponized drone hunted down a human target without being told to. Yes, we know that. And that was reported by the UN and seen by the New Scientist. The Cargo 2 quadcopter autonomously attacked a person during conflict between Libyan forces and a breakaway faction. That's what I mean. This is all messy. There's the Libyan government, there's a breakaway Libyan government, there's a breakaway from the breakaway Libyan government. The whole thing is just a complete shit show. So into that you've got stuff like this happening. And I guarantee you, all the big players, whoever is or isn't involved, they're all watching this. This is all, you know, they're compiling data from this. They're doing studies on this. Now, what we've got here from Business Insider is the company that makes these drones, and here we go. We're going to have a look at this now and see what's going on with this. This is the STM company. They're the Turkish firm who have developed this, the Cargo rotary wing attack drone. It's yeah, we're going to watch this and see what's going on here. STM, yeah. Oh, this is a promotional video, by the way. They're trying to sell these. There's the boy there. Go on, lad. Okay. I wouldn't fancy you trying to outrun one of these guys. I mean, this thing is just, it doesn't care, it doesn't get tired. Okay, it might run out of power, but it'll just keep going till it gets you. Alright, got a few lads down there. A few mannequins. Whoa. Bit of a kamikaze angle. Holy shit. Alright. Yeah. Bit of shrapnel flying around the place there. Alright, that's our boys at Cargo. Alright, don't need to see that again. Right, so you kind of get the picture there. It finds the target. Doesn't matter if you're in a crowd or where you are. It's obviously just scanning faces. This technology is far advanced now. I mean, I don't know how much of the Chinese population are constantly being monitored by this stuff. So it is no problem finding you. Don't think you put a COVID mask, put on your thing and it'll find you anyway. It'll even find you from the top half of your face. So as you've seen there, You know, you could be in the middle of a market. You could see it through a window. This thing will just kind of do it. You know, see the old kamikaze planes in the World War II films, the horrific sights of them, you know, just nose diving into the ships. Well, this is nose dive into your face. This is no joke. And according to their spiel there, they can load different kind of ammunition into it. The thing can just explode in your face. It can spare shrapnel, kill you and everybody around you, all your bodyguards and all their bodyguards and somebody who was just serving the coffee. I mean, this is the amount of ways this could go. This is Skynet stuff here. Okay, it's not quite like that Skynet, but it's certainly where Skynet starts. You've also got that the footage of who are those guys? Boston Dynamics or something, Boston something. These guys are robotic experts, and they basically have developed robotic dogs.
Get it right.
That again, they're 4 legs. They look like, you know, okay, they don't bark and stuff, but you know what I mean. They're basically a robotic dog, and again, that thing can chase after you. So they've got these like dogs essentially that I think they even had them, didn't they? New York police force, I think, got a few of them or tried them or something, and I don't know, they were out doing stuff on the streets. So I don't mean they were hunting people down. No, I mean they were doing something else, probably something mundane. But they had to withdraw them, I think, because there was such an outcry from the public. They were too freaked out by these robotic dogs patrolling or whatever they were doing around the place. So I think they had to kind of can that.
The newest bot in blue was sent out to its first crime scene.
That thing is creepy.
Meet DigiDog, the newest member of the NYPD's Technical Assistance Response Unit. Yes, a robot dog that's hounding city streets.
But I guess it's only canned for the moment. These things have a habit of just, you know, being dampened down for a while, but they always come back with a vengeance. So yeah, autonomous hunter killer drones. And like I said, this is not pie in the sky anymore. The technology is very, very finessed for this type of stuff. Not only from everybody has drones now. Well, I don't have a drone, but drones are everywhere taking pictures, and they're totally and utterly commonplace now, and they're very, very reliable. And I mean, I've seen these things. They're designed. They can fly in a gale force flipping wind and stabilize themselves. That's how technological, and that's just the ones you'd buy off Amazon for a few £100. The technology, imagine what these guys could do for a few million. Imagine how good they'd be. And if you think about it, right, fine, eventually they run out of juice. But there's nothing stopping you, as I'm sure there probably already is a parameter, that there's nothing stopping the drone that's out hunting you, and say it doesn't find you in, I know how many hours they can fly, 5 hours, 10 hours, 2 hours, 1 hour, I don't know. There's nothing stopping the drone as it reaches a certain battery level, shunting off to a preordained recharge point, landing there, recharging and flying back to hunt for you again. And it could keep doing that forever. These things don't have to work 8-hour shifts. They could just press go with your picture in its programming in its brain, and it'll just go till it finds you. And that's the end of you then. You know, sees you in a car driving along, you stop at a traffic light, next thing your car blows up because a flipping drone came in and huffed you out of it. So this is scary stuff, but is it inevitable? I don't know. A lot of me thinks, yeah, it's just inevitable. The technology's there, and if the technology's there, it's like the whole thing of super soldiers. When they can do it, by God, they will do it. There's nobody going to be left behind here. If the Russians have these drones and they're effective, or they mean you don't have to put your troops into a thing, you can just send 1,000 of these things out and let them at it. What? Yeah, everybody's going to have it. Americans aren't going to say, no, we wouldn't be at that. We don't agree with that sort of thing. You kidding me? That's not how wars work. If the Chinese have it, and I'm sure they have, if the Russians have it, and they seem to have, and the Turks are building them, so they have it, I guarantee you they all have them. So, rein in your shock and horror there, because the age of robots, perhaps the age of Skynet, is upon us.